you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. Well, looking at you, give me funny, lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
From his time in the NFL all the way to his now broadcasting career, Nate Burelson has done a lot of incredible things in his life. But if you ask him, one of the most incredible things that he's ever done was become a father. In this Father's Day edition of The Collection, we talked to Nate Burelson about a collaboration he has going on with Shinola Detroit, a watch manufacturing and luxury goods brand out there made in the great old USA. And let me just read from the copy here. This campaign that they're launching celebrates the power of a father's legacy by bringing together two iconic figures, Nate Burelson and Shinola watches, to honor the influential role fathers play in our lives. Again, Nate Burleson's former NFL player and charismatic television personality. He's partnered with Shinola watches, a renowned American luxury brand, to highlight the impact fathers have on their children's lives. With shared values of craftsmanship, dedication, and family, Burelson and Shinola watches aim to inspire a profound appreciation for fatherhood and celebrate the timeless legacy fathers leave behind. So we're going to talk to Nate Burelson about his experience of being a father, this collaboration with Shinola watches, and I have a couple other questions for the man, the broadcaster, the former football player. So let's get to it right now. My conversation with Nate Burelson.
And I'm so excited to continue talking about the celebration that is Father's Day, a holiday that's near and dear to me. I love celebrating my dad on the big day. And right now we're celebrating the power of a father's legacy with Nate Burelson and Shinola watches, because they bring together two iconic figures to honor the influential role that fathers play in shaping our lives. And I'm talking to one of them right now. Nate Burelson joins us right now. You know him from the Gridiron. You know him from CBS. What's going on, Nate?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man? I appreciate you having me on.
Man, I appreciate you've taken the time to really do this campaign more than anything. Like, let's start right there. How does Nate Burelson and Shinola watches get together to celebrate Father's Day? How does that all go down?
Man, it goes way back. You know, I played for the Detroit Lions for 4 years. I felt like I was one of those adopted sons on the football team. And Shinola is a Detroit brand through and through. And I've always been a fan. You know, it's always good when you link up with a brand that you actually love and support. So when we started talking initially about this campaign, I'm like, I got product at the house that I bought and it wasn't on a discount. It was something that I love. So they started talking about doing something different for Father's Day and really creating legacy, the power of what a legacy item can be, a legacy piece can be, a legacy watch can be. And we just started, having this very organic conversation, which is giving back to your kids on Father's Day, a day where, we expect the socks, the tie, the tools, all the things that fathers love. Instead, we decided to do what a lot of fathers dream of, which is give something to their kids that they can pass down for generations. And it was the perfect marriage. I have to shout out Falcon for connecting us too, but Shinola, they allowed me to come into their store in New York. I walked in, I was able to pick out the watches, inscribe the watches, and then bring in my kids on a separate day and surprise them with the watches and the look on their faces. The quality of the watches, it really shocked them. And these are kids that, they love all the new tech. They got the Apple Watch and they're always on their phone. They both looked at me and they were so sincerely appreciative for having a piece that they know that they can wear rain, sleet, snow, or sun. And it's a perfect marriage. So Sunday, it's going to be the best Father's Day for me, and I truly do mean this. And we kind of recorded it. It's like a short film. We teased a little bit. We'll post a few later. You can go to shinola.com or to my social media at Nate Burelson and see just how it all went down.
Man, you're so right about, fathers. My dad has passed down so many life lessons to me, but there is something about he, for my 30th birthday, gave me a watch, and I still wear that watch every single day.
See?
Yeah, I wear
you see
it every
what I'm
day.
talking about?
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's funny, like when you get it initially, you're like, oh, thanks, Pops. I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. But then as time goes on, it becomes more and more near and dear to your heart. So for me to pass down these watches to my two sons, Nathaniel II, Nehemiah, and also my daughter, I know that because of the quality, this isn't a bootleg brand. This is one of those brands that pieces last forever. I mean, the quality leather, the way the watches are made, and the detailing within them. This is going to be something that one day they will pass down to their kids. And that warms my heart, knowing that along with, like you said, the life lessons, the things that you pass down that might be more in a spiritual sense, or the quotes and phrases that you tell your kids,
Right.
But something physical, material, that's going to last a lifetime, that's awesome.
And it almost makes those lessons and those quotes and those sayings come to life. Like that person actually existed. You know what I mean? They gave me this, and it's a physical manifestation of those, spiritual connections that we still have decades later, right?
No doubt about it. I mean, when you see something that your pops gave you, like you, for example, you said your dad gave you a watch to wear all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't help but to think about him when you look at it. And if somebody compliments it, it's the first thing you think of. And then from there, it opens up this world of the relationship that you had. So a special Father's Day. Shout out to Shinola, man. To be honest, I probably would have just woke up expecting breakfast in bed and a gift or two with some cards and my oldest kids making fun of me. But this is going to be quite an emotional one, thanks to Shinola.
Man, that's so awesome. Now, I know that, like we've talked about the life lessons that have been passed down. What are some that was passed down to you, or what are some of those sayings that have been passed down to you from the previous generation that you're now paying forward to your children?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's fitting. This is a sports brand and a sports show, and a lot of my life lessons had to do around learning who I was while I was playing certain sports, whether it was track, baseball, basketball, and football. Of course, my dad would tell me, he was like, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars. And he would always tell me how good it was, and if I put the work in, I could be great. And, your fathers, they see so much in you before you see it in yourself. And you're not really sure as a child if your father is lying to you. You're like, wait a minute, are you telling me I'm good, or are you just telling me that because I'm your kid? And then as I get older, I realized, like, my dad was pushing me because he realized in order to get to the point of success I wanted to get to, I would have to toe that line of exhaustion and hard work and really fall in love with the game. And those are the same life lessons I pass to my kids. I'm hard on them. My wife and I were just having the same conversation the other night, laying in bed, and we were just talking about the good times, the bad times, and even the times we were a little too tough on our kids, because we now have a 19-year-old getting ready for his freshman year in college, and he's playing wide receiver on scholarship. So it's like we're tripping out right now. We still remember vividly hopping in the SUV, driving across the state to play in a weekend basketball tournament, staying at a small hotel and watching his team swim while they were eating nachos and hot dogs in between games. That seems like yesterday to me. And now my son is 19 and he's off to college, and there's this bittersweet feeling I have. It's sweet because I'm like, all right, son, you made it. Go do your thing. I did my job. Went out the house. Go make me proud and make yourself proud. But then at the same time, I know it will never be the same. He's not going to lean on me like he used to. He's not going to depend on me like he used to, which makes this Father's Day even that much more special. Is that I want him to. I don't want whatever we do now to be fleeting. I want every moment to be impactful, and this Father's Day is going to be a really special one.
You're right though. When I think because my dad in some respects was hard on me, but it made those compliments that I did get from him even sweeter. They say that
Man.
Marshall McLuhan had this famous quote that the medium is the message, and 100 people could have told me I was good, but if my dad told me I was good, that meant so much more than everybody else. And in a lot of ways, it was the validation or the pat on the back, for lack of a better term, that I needed. That some people get from their dad, some people get them from their coaches too. I'm sure you experienced that in NFL. Coach gives you a certain compliment, you know that that's real and valid, and you could take it to the bank.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I remember being drafted by the Minnesota Vikings, and I'm standing next to Randy Moss, and Dante Culpepper is my quarterback. We're playing in the same division as Brett Favre, and it's the NFC North, and this is the old school NFC North, black and blue division. And these were rough games, tough outings every Sunday. There wasn't any easy opponents. And I remember when Randy Moss went down, two things happened. My dad, he called me. He's like, "Hey, son, you ready?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ready." He's like, "Randy, I heard you're gonna be out with the hamstrings. You still time to shine." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, Pop." He's like, you know you're as good as Randy, right? And in my head, I'm like, "Man, you're out of your mind." But I didn't say it. But I knew what he was trying to say. He was just saying, like, you can go out there and make an impact in your own way, like he does. And to your point, these coaches, Mike Tice was our head coach. Scott Linehan was our office coordinator. Charlie Baggett, he was our wide receivers coach. And then a whole slew of coaches on the staff and people within the front office, they all serve as somewhat father figures, because I'm still young. I'm 21. I'm trying to make my career out of each season that I play in. And these, like, quote unquote football father figures, they all spoke encouragement into me. They all told me, like, it was my time to shine. And as much as I was trying to deny it and didn't believe them when they said it, because it wasn't that I wasn't confident, it's just that I knew I wasn't Randy. It's like, bro, you can tell me I'm good, but don't tell me I'm good enough to replace Randy. And sure enough, Randy came in. And Randy's like the big brother. And Randy's like, "Look, hey, when I come back, all these balls are coming to me. So you better do whatever you got to do to catch as many balls as you have to catch while I'm out, because things are going to change. They're going to go back to normal." And he put it in perspective. My big bro was telling me, "Hey, you got 4 to 6 weeks to catch as many balls as you can, because when I come back, Dante's throwing that rock to me." And those are moments where people that you look up to, people that you admire, like you said, when they say it, it means so much more.
Nate, I mean, that was an incredible story. And the one thing I'm being respectful of your time. I know you got a lot going on. And again, Shinola watches. Shinola,
you're good, man. Take your time, man. Take your time. We good.
Shinola.com, of course, at Nate Burelson. Well, here's what I wanted to ask, because I'm sure in a lot of ways, whether you know it or not, a lot of the young players look at you as a father figure. And here's what I mean by that. You were able to make the transition. You're able to go from the NFL into a whole different medium and be successful and thrive at it. That's something that so very few of the people who touch that gridiron have the opportunity to do. And if they have the opportunity to actually go forth and make something out of it and be successful with that opportunity. So for all those who maybe are looking at the last season or two coming up and wondering, how am I going to transition to the next phase of my career? What would your quote unquote fatherly advice be to them?
That was really good. See, I can tell why you're one of the best at your job, man. That was smooth as butter. I love that, the way you paralleled that. I would say, get as many reps as you can. And you know this as well as I know this in this business. There is no replacement for that, and there's no substitute. So you can show up and be the cool football player in the locker room, but the cool football player on camera doesn't last. So there is no replacement. There's no cool that will take the place of hard work. And as far as substitutes, you can sit there and practice in the mirror. You can watch clips of yourself, reciting cliches to reporters after games, and that's fine. I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I am not knocking it. I was also a guy early on in my career that hit you with the, at the end of the day, it is what it is, one game at a time. You know what I mean? That works. But at some point, you have to start creating useful reps. And what I mean by that is when you're talking to the media, have a certain sense of transparency. Be a little bit more thoughtful. Whenever you win, you explain that in depth and take it with a little sense of humility. And when you lose, you don't run or hide. You have the same type of energy when you're speaking to the media. Those are useful reps. And then as you try to transition out of the game into any media space, make sure that you have reference points. And the great thing about the landscape now is that you don't actually have to have a VHS tape, a demo. Like I'm old enough to where I actually had to have a demo tape or a demo DVD. Now you can just create those reps on your phone, on your own social media platforms. You can literally create your own show. You do that a million times before you retire. And what that does, one, it gets your brand out there, but it allows you to see yourself. What do we do as athletes? We look at ourselves every single play, every single game. We break down the footage, and then we get better from it and play better the next week. It's the same thing when it comes to TV. It doesn't matter the space you're in. You can do it in entertainment. You can do it in sports. You can do it in politics. And if you are hungry for multitasking and juggling multiple jobs, you can try to do all three at the same time. So I think reps is key.
Man, more reps. Well, you know what, Nate? I mean, I think it's incredible what you're doing in your broadcasting career. We all know what you did on the gridiron, and of course, what you're doing to celebrate the legacy of fathers. And you're doing it with Shinola Watches, Shinola.com, Nate Burelson on social media. I really appreciate you taking the time, man, and doing what you're doing. It's really, really inspiring to see your journey and what you're doing to kind of spread the word about the importance of fatherhood on this upcoming Father's Day.
No doubt about it. There's so many things that we could pass down to our kids. I feel like Shinola, they're the perfect brand to make sure that we pass down legacy to our children. And I'm thankful that I was able to partner with them. I appreciate you taking the time to as well.
I appreciate it, Nate. Nate Burelson, everybody. Thank you so much.
Hurry up, tape running out.